Well, hey everybody, this is Chris DiFurio with Keys to the Shop. Welcome to another edition of Shift Break. Today's episode is brought to you by La Marzocco, who has been creating espresso machines by hand in Florence since 1927. I mean, you probably know the name La Marzocco because you see their espresso machines all over the world. And it's because people who really value quality, innovation, and dependability inevitably end up at a La Marzocco. They're trusted by some of the best professionals in coffee bars around the world, and for great reason. Examples of this would include things like the KB90 espresso machine, a great example of innovation with the straight-in locking portafilters that help with ergonomics. There's a scales built into the drip tray that helps you with your accuracy of extraction. And on top of that, you've got the auto flush feature in the group heads, which makes things pretty effortless to keep clean and keeps the workflow going quickly. It's just one example of lots of different types of espresso machines and configurations that La Marzocco has that will suit your cafe perfectly. Reach out to them today by emailing info@lamarzocousa.com. And when you do that, you'll talk to one of their salespeople, really awesome crew there at La Marzocco USA, and they'll help you get hooked up with the exact right equipment for your needs. Again, that's info@lamarzocousa.com. And for dependability, quality, innovation, I mean, the total package, I think you should be using a La Marzocco. Check them out at their website also, lamarzocousa.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by Espressly, who is creating custom branded mobile apps for coffee shops, for independent retailers like yourself, to not only have a convenience option for your customers, but to make it something that is a piece of your culture, something that reminds them, yes, this is the coffee bar that I know and love, and you're not just a dot on a map with Espressly. When your customer wants coffee, they open their phone and they basically go to your cafe and they order, and then they just kind of physically go and get the coffee. It's an extension of your brand, truly, and it's a no-risk model with Espressly. There's no setup or development fees. You get a drive-through payment scanner, receipt and label printing capabilities, and all of the data is stored in the app, and it integrates with some of the world's best payment processing systems. Of course, that includes Square. So there's so much to love about Espressly. I think that you should check them out. To have them get started on your app today, go to their website, reach out, espressly.co. That's espressly.co. Okay, everybody. Well, today I wanted to talk to you about kind of automation, I suppose. It's not so much automation. It's kind of like hands-off leadership. And I think everybody kind of has a predisposition to believe that if they set things up the correct way, that things will just happen automatically. People will automatically lead themselves. Your business will lead itself. The whole thing will just work out. And if you just hack the system the right way, you essentially will become irrelevant. Not in a bad way, but almost like the idea of passive income, almost like the idea that you could just sit back and watch your machine work for you. And to a degree, there is a kernel of truth in that, in so much as there are systems and there are structures and foundations that need to be laid. You can use templates, you can use these systems to be tools that help guide the continual involvement of yourself and others in your business, or you can use them as surrogates. You can use them as replacements. And I think the default is to try to do the latter. And that's where we end up with a lot of trouble, because this is a people business. When you talk about people first coffee and people first cafes and systems, we need to realize that in order for people to lead themselves, they need to be in communication with and in contact with people that they trust who represent leadership. We call this present authority. We call this hands-on leadership, strong hands-on leadership, as Bruce Tulgan would say in his It's Okay to Be the Boss book. And somebody might ask the question, does that mean I always have to be doing things in my business? Doesn't Michael Gerber say that you should be working on your business and not in your business? And yes, I guess so. When you draw a dichotomy between those two things and you only give yourself two places to go, then I'd rather see you working on your business. But inevitably, working on your business means that you have to be involved in it to some degree. So creating this, kind of black and white scenario, this binary of, well, I can't be doing things in my business because I'm not supposed to be working in it, I'm supposed to be working on it, eventually creates an irrelevancy to your own influence on the business. And then later on, when you try to change things, people are like, well, who are you? Well, I'm the owner. I sign the checks and I do all these things. But I do them outside of the presence of the cafe. I work on the business, but I'm not in it. So I don't really, it's not like you don't have skin in the game. But for all intents and purposes, you have kind of got your desire. You have removed yourself from the operations. Not that they need to depend on you, but you need to be involved to help guide, to help curate. And you can still call that working on your business, because really, what is your business? Isn't your business people? For the most part, after you get your espresso machine set up and you teach people how to close the store and open the store and clean the espresso machine and store the mop head the right way and, sweep underneath the tables as well as around them and all those fun bits of minutia. After that, what is there left to do? Well, for most people, it is to start opening a second store, and that's fine. But what about the people? The people is the work that is eternal. And it's just something that you continue to do that gives life to the business. And that is working in and on your business, I suppose. You just think about the fact that as you're listening to this right now, you've probably taken hundreds of breaths and you've also got a beating heart, right? There's automatic systems in your body and muscles that just work without you even thinking about it. That's the kind of automation I think that's good. It doesn't stop working. It keeps pumping blood to the organization, or the organism, in this case, you. And so what is it that you should be doing as a leader? Well, you shouldn't be seeking to remove yourself perpetually. You should be seeking to find places where you add the most value in the business. Yes, it's not sacrilege to say so if you're thinking about on versus in the business, because people need you, and that's okay. So the preoccupation with automating the business is just as much a problem as a preoccupation with automating the coffee process. You still need to have presence of mind and input to curate and to guide the inputs and the product that comes out, because otherwise that hands-off leadership and removing yourself from the process breeds the same culture, and inevitably that makes you think, well, people aren't engaged, people aren't as excited about things as we would like them to be. And it's because the fruit of that disengaged, hands-off style, an automated style of doing things, and the belief that your business, which is, again, a people business, can be just something that runs in the background and you get to be the owner of it, that's something that will be picked up by other people. And it's not exactly the thing that leads customers to have a raving, an amazing experience in your coffee bar. It just makes you like everybody else, honestly. And truly, the competitive factor today is not so much the coffee, it's the people, it's the hospitality. So think today about not how you can automate things necessarily. There are, again, systems and foundations and structures are necessary. Think how you can use those as tools, as enhancements for your involvement. There are things that you will always be involved in, and that is a great way to work on your business. I hope that this was helpful today, and as always, I'm thankful for you listening. Go ahead and subscribe to the show. Share this episode with your friends, with your neighbors, with your mother-in-law, and I'll see you here next week on another edition of Shift Break, from Keys to the Shop.